This year, I wanted to do something different with my art. So instead of chasing trends or what looks pretty on the internet, I decided to paint something much closer to my heart, stories. And that's how this series was born. Over the next 12 months, I am creating 12 paintings, each inspired by a movie or TV show that left a mark on us. Not just the plot and not just the characters, but the feeling it left behind when the screen went black. This series isn't about recording scenes perfectly or making hyper realistic paintings. It's about translating emotions into colors. So today I'm starting the first painting of this year long series and I feel weirdly emotional about it. This painting is inspired by Pride and Prejudice. Not in an obvious way, I'm not painting Mr. Darcy, I promise. I think what I love about this movie is how slow it is. Like, nothing is screaming at you, no one's begging to be loved, and everything just waits. And honestly, I feel like that's such a lost feeling right now. I watched Pride and Prejudice so many times, but this year it hit differently. It felt less like love story and more like a lesson in self-respect. Lizzie or Elizabeth doesn't rush. She doesn't explain herself to people who don't want to understand her. And she definitely doesn't shrink herself to be chosen. And I kept thinking, imagine how peaceful life would feel if we moved like that. If we stopped chasing validation and if we let things unfold instead of forcing them. I feel like this painting is about that energy, soft but firm, gentle but grounded. I'm using really muted color for this one, nothing dramatic, because love that's meant for you doesn't feel chaotic, it feels calm. I think sometimes we confuse waiting with weakness, but Pride and Prejudice shows us that waiting can be strength. Waiting for honesty, for respect, and for something that doesn't ask you to abandon yourself. This is the first painting of my 2026 series, One Movie, One Painting every month. Every painting is about a feeling, a film left behind, not a scene. I knew I wanted to include the bridge and the place where Mr. Darcy proposed, not because the proposal itself, but because of what it represented. There's something about the world of this movie that feels so calm. Like life moves slower there, like people actually wait for the right words, for the right moments, and I think that's why I keep coming back to it. I also included the Bennett house because that's where everything begins. I think this movie teaches us something very gently, that you don't have to abandon yourself to be loved. And the river, it feels important too because everything is always flowing, misunderstandings, emotions, time, nothing stays still. I also added two swans in the river. Swans mate for life, and I love that symbol, but also they move together quietly. No drama, no rush. And then there are two birds in the sky. For me, they represent freedom, the idea that love shouldn't case you, it should let you breathe. And next month, I'm stepping into a completely different world because the February painting is inspired by Bridgerton. And I already know it's going to feel louder, richer, and a little more daring than this one. More color, more tension, more unspoken desire sitting just beneath the surface. So, while this January painting feels calm and grounded, like choosing patience and dignity, the next one feels like leaning into emotions and longings. And honestly excited and slightly nervous to explore that shift. But for now, let this painting rest and goodbye.